Well, what's happened is the line between COVID and Brexit was a bit blurred before because of lockdown. And now that lockdown has pretty much been eased, the full effects of Brexit are now starting to show.
It's a weapon, isn't it? I think it's
absolutely.
A label that's it's weaponized.
We're gonna find some horses. We're gonna find some horses walking around in London with no tail.
Organize, sit down, reason and talk.
As the nights draw in, it can only mean one thing: that we are coupled again with our voice of compassion, Ebony Harmony, our king of one-liners, Brother S, and our eye of analysis, Kindred Spirit, on ORT.
Greetings, Kush, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, come out of the people house.
You know what? Just land. Just land.
Cool.
You know what it is as well? The petrol crisis. So I have to be doing everything a little bit differently, you see.
Them have petrol
No
crisis
petrol left in no petrol left in the car, Kush.
Oh gosh. No worries.
So I have to be doing everything by the scenic route on public transport at the moment, you see.
Oh my days.
This is a whole different world for me, you see.
Oh my days. I hope you drink your hand sterilizer.
That too.
I'm going to be ringing Brother S now and see if I can get him on the same call. 1 second.
Greetings, Kindred.
Greetings, Ebony.
How are you?
Good to hear you.
You too.
Hey.
Oh,
I hear that deep voice, you know. Brother S,
Mr. Kindred.
Brother S is sounding in fine voice, isn't he?
Him say no well, you know.
No, I don't believe that.
He must have beat some white rum.
I think that's just an excuse, Brother S.
Oh,
an excuse.
And Brother S, you should try mashing a white onion. I think it's white onion. And tying it on your chest and sleep with it overnight. Apparently it helps too.
I've heard that.
Yes, it's true. It's a real thing, Kindred.
But tell me, brother, what is onion?
It's very similar to bonian, but it's not the same thing.
I'm sure you mean onion, but I'm gonna allow you. I'm gonna allow you with the onion, the inferences. I'm gonna allow you.
It sounds a bit antisocial, that remedy.
Listen, onion and garlic will save your life.
You know.
It's actually called an onion poultice, Brother S. It's actually called an onion poultice. Spelled.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the English translation.
And now we'll have the Jamaican translation.
Tell you.
Do it also fight name. When you put it on your chest, I say name. Put this on your chest. So yes, so welcome to ORT, the show of love and light. And we're glad to be back with our voice of compassion.
Greetings, listeners.
Our king of one-liners.
Greetings, people.
And our eye of analysis.
Greetings, family.
You know something? I realized yesterday that when our show starts back, it always starts back in Black History Month. Oh, can you imagine?
Look at that.
Something
there are no accidents, Bush. No accidents.
But I so try to avoid Black History Month anyway. Especially when when some white person is raising it at work. I just try and avoid the whole thing. But yeah, what a coincidence. So
that's because we are the antidote to Black History Month, Bush. Where you have to see it.
I thought you was gonna say Antichrist. Say a minute, me thank God.
Well, that,
Whoa!
we are the antidote.
Yes, definitely. With that, I will concur. You know. So yeah, what's been happening with everyone since we've not spoken in how many months? You know, what's been happening?
Where to start?
Well,
it's been well, go Kush.
No, I was gonna say that I've been doing some research, you know, and when we hear of black people having problems with white people, it's because we're not using kryptonite on the white people. We know their weakness, but we're not using the kryptonite, and
that's true.
So we have a Rottweiler puppy, and let me tell you, I can't go nowhere without white people to rush me. As long as the dog is
they
there.
love their dogs, so they love their dogs.
Them stop for me in the traffic for make me cross. And do you know when you go into like a shopping mall and a white person with a baby sees you and they're like, Emma, come here. When them sit with the dog now, you know, them bring them toddler.
Yeah.
They carry their toddler over to the dog. For the dog to interact with them. And so if there's one thing black people are going to take from this show tonight is use the kryptonite to get what you want. To get you in life. The kryptonite is the dog.
Wow. Wow.
So what you need to do now, Kush, is take a few pictures of the dog now. When you go into the office, just show around the pictures of your dog, right?
I have a Facebook. I have a Facebook page for him.
Wow.
Yeah, I have him on social media.
What a something. Okay.
White people from near and far, Canada, Australia, all about. What a lovely dog.
Stop.
And I have to keep on reminding him, you know, him not get no kissy. Yeah,
you disappoint me there.
Him not
you
coming into me
disappoint
there.
me.
You understand?
What a shame.
Yeah, I'm black.
What a shame.
Okay.
What's the dog's name?
Wait for it.
Marley.
Oh God. So you know Robert Nesta is rolling in his grave.
Oh.
As far
his
as
name gone to nothing now.
As far as I know, is melting hearts as you and I speak.
Even dog called Marley.
Right now, I have to choose my times when I come out, you know, because I cannot come out and just pop to the store with him. I'm getting stopped like every 300-400 yards.
Oh,
yeah, man, they're crossing the road. Oh gosh. So yes.
You couldn't just
brother Scott.
Huh? That would have been
brother.
This the party pooper. Everybody run. Oh, love the dog. What's his name? Yeah.
What was it? Hey, what was the name of the dogs in Omen? They didn't have any name because that was the film that really give them dogs, you know, the Doberman and a bad name, you know. But no, I don't think anything is going to put white people off dogs. I'm telling you, they stop in the traffic, you know, to let me cross.
Wow.
So I'm like, whoa.
Where they wouldn't stop.
So you're like Moses passing the Red Sea.
So next time I hear one of these black people going around telling off white people, I just think, you're not using the kryptonite.
Wow.
I hear you.
God.
Oh boy. You discovered the secret there, Kush.
Yeah.
100.
Wow.
Right. So yes, I'll hand back over to my learned colleagues.
I don't know what to say, Kush, you know, because to be honest with you, I've kind of been keeping a low profile to try and avoid a lot of the madness.
a moon to that.
So a lot of things have just washed right over my head because I have to be very, very strict about what I will give attention to these days.
Well, there has been a lot that's been happening, and
Hasn't there?
Yeah, and some of it is really hard to take in, and hard to figure out why. It's like I was talking to someone the other day about, like I said, these natural disasters. And the first thing he said is that they're man-made. And
yeah, unnatural disasters.
Yeah, and to a degree, the problem is that no, you don't even know if that someone's saying the truth or not, because they do have powers to do some things. But then you think to yourself, well, why would you? What's your motive?
And I guess, I mean, there might be another dimension to that where the man-made aspect of it is polluting the earth one way or the other. That shifts, the glaciers and melting, and in nature, one section or dimension of nature affects the other. I mean, we've got volcanoes erupting and ice. So I think that might be an aspect to think of the man-made aspect. A lack of total respect for Mother Nature and all that she provides.
I make you right. I think there's something in that, definitely, Sister Ebony. I just want to say, before I to repost, I'd like to take the opportunity just to big up a family. I went to a funeral yesterday of a family I've known for many years, and I just want to big up the Irish family. Not that they're an Irish family, but the family's surname is Irish. They're from Montserrat, and they lost their mother. Let her rest in peace. 94 years, and they had. I attended the funeral yesterday, so I just want to big up and send my sincere condolences on behalf of ORT to Esther and the family Irish.
Yes, indeed. Thank
you.
Absolutely, Absolutely. Our thoughts go with her.
Yeah, man.
Okay, but in response to your point that you made there,
but before you go on to that, there is some irony in what you just said, because Montserrat celebrates St. Patrick Day, and they do have a big Irish connection.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, yes,
the name is not coincidental. Right? The name is not coincidental. But to the point that Sister Ebony was making, I believe that she strikes upon a good point about the indirect natural disasters that may result as a result of the earth being off tilt. And in some ways, I believe that what we're witnessing in some of the people is indicative of the earth being off tilt, that they are acting off tilt too.
Yeah, I think might have a point.
We're seeing some of the madness. And Sister Ebony, Sister Kindred makes a good point in that he said she has tried to remove herself from the madness. So we are aware that there's some madness going on, and I share her sentiment in that I also said, with this last thing regarding the fuel shortage, or what they want to call it, that I just parked up my car and said, that's that, right? I'm quite happy to leave it where it is and find other means in which to be able to carry out my work. But I'm not joining in that madness that was going on out there.
You know what I heard?
I hear you, Brother S.
I heard yesterday on the radio that some people were filling up water bottles with petrol, so they'd fill up their tank and maybe they have a 2-liter water bottle empty.
Madness.
Let us not forget, though, a year ago, people were ready to kill each other over toilet rolls.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Indeed. So in some ways, when we're talking about mental health here, and we're talking about how easy it is for people to lose sight
to tip over
of normality. If it only takes one thing to to tilt it. They're that close most of the time to losing their mind if we just insert one thing that throws them off.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. And
so we need to be mindful of that.
Definitely. And it's, again, just think about nature and just the natural human instinct to survive one way or the other. It feels like as humans we're so far removed from that, The petrol goes, or there's a risk to petrol, then you do everything, but drink it to make sure you get your fill. Toilet paper is in short supply, or they cause it to be in short supply. I mean, why not use leaves? A little bit extreme, I mean, but it's just, if it's not available on tap, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And that's a real worry.
It is. It's a very good point. And it's like, I was just thinking that, we're so used to having external fixes for everything. We don't go internally and draw on our own initiative to figure out solutions to what are, in many ways, small problems. This shouldn't derail you.
Absolutely. I think we've also lost sight of that. Actually, they're not fixes. If anything, they're hindrance. They stop us thinking. They stop us, our autonomy, our self-sufficiency. It stops. It's a real hindrance, and we have totally given into. Well, many of us have totally given into.
Somebody made a point to me, and it really got me thinking. And it's picking up on what Ebony said earlier about nature. And what they said to me was that the only thing that Mother Nature cares about is balance, right? There's no emotion, no favoritism, nothing else involved in nature but balance. So if there's a drought in one part of the world, there's a flood in another part of the world. That's how you maintain balance. Yes. And the drought might mean that some very good and decent people lose their lives. And the flood might mean some good and decent people lose their lives. The drought might mean some bad people profit. And the flood might mean some bad people profit, right? But it's about maintaining the cycle of life, and it is that balance between where you get one extreme over here, you have to create another over there to maintain it all. And our responsibility as human beings is to adapt to that. And if you can't adapt, you perish. Because they gave me the example that in the Caribbean, when the hurricanes hit, you will see some big, massive trees completely uprooted. Right? Trees that have been standing there for hundreds of years. And then you will see smaller palm trees still standing. And that's because the palm trees can bend and spring back into position. The bigger, stronger trees can't. So they just get completely uprooted. So it's about our ability to adapt to our circumstances and keep going. I just thought it was a really good point.
It is, and it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so listen, we're like 15 minutes in and nobody don't mention COVID-19.
Who?
So over that. Over that. What that? That's still around? Done with that.
We're choosing who we spar with today.
What I wanted to say though was whether persons have taken the vaccine in our community or not, we are still one community, and this whole vaccinated and anti-vaxxer split, it's something we should avoid at all costs. And simply remain united,
Yeah. I think any opportunity that, and we are accustomed to this, we have lived this experience where the system of oppression has been used in a divisive way, right? It is from colorism to which part you're born, to what language you speak, to what your political views may be. All of those things have been used as part of the oppressive system to keep us enslaved. So we need to learn to grow and develop and understand and overstand that we can't continue to have those divisions that stop us from progressing as a collective.
Yeah, man.
100%. I mean, it's a weapon, isn't it? I think it's
absolutely.
A label that's it's weaponized with the purpose of trying to entice us or guilt trip us into, or guilt trip people, should I say, into taking the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it definitely is a divisive weapon. It wants to be an anti-anything, if you look at it on the surface. But if, like you said, Brother S, if you're pretty much aware of what's going on, you don't subscribe to that, because at the end of the day, if we think about ourselves culturally as Africans, yeah, the anti-vax label is a little bit of a misnomer, because any one of our community family members who may have taken it and falls ill, we'll look after them. We're not going to turn our backs because we feel like you shouldn't have taken it, or it's your own fault, and this, that, and the other. You know, we naturally look after each other. So no, I agree with you. A lot of awareness is needed, and let's not buy into that nonsense. Yes, we should be looking after each other, as Kush said, despite our choices in this matter.
Well said.
And the reason why I said that is I think there is a need to categorize people who've taken the vaccine as idiot or something of that nature. And really, we should be having more empathy. Either way, it's a gamble. Either way you go, there are pros and cons. Given the evidence that we've been spoken of, but we should just be united, really. I think that's the thing that we have to try and do. And when we look at some of the Caribbean islands and some of the measures that's been brought in, and the responses to that, whether it's Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, or wherever, you can see that there's a strong possibility of the people becoming divided. And I think that would be the worst outcome.
But that's the move. That was the test move.
Yeah.
Right?
Divide and conquer.
That was the test move. Right?
Yeah.
So, it's either or. When why can't it be both?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So, and that's the test move. Where people are thinking, well, if I've made this decision for or against, now I need to brace myself for the people who are going to oppose it. Right?
Yeah.
So when we remove the space for love and understanding, what is replaced with often is fear and loathing and hatred and war. Right? People become defensive. When we need to be hip to that. And as Sister Kindred said, whatever the choice is, the main objective is, regardless of the choice, we must still care for them.
Yep.
So we must lose sight of them.
Yeah, for real. Kindred, did you have something you wanted to contribute on that point?
There's really not a lot I can add to that. I think what it really brings home, though, is the problems with leadership across the board.
Oh, leadership.
It's a leadership issue for me, because people, it's very easy to create fear and then play off of people's fears, but we have the right to expect better from some of our leaders, or so-called leaders.
Well, according to Boris Johnson, we are in a position now where we can create the best United Kingdom has ever seen.
Who's he referring to?
Dear.
No, him and him 100 people in my hide.
Yeah. I'm sure he ain't talking to you and I.
Oh, yes. Right? We were in the forefront. Quasi-Quateng, then you, then me. We were in the forefront of his mind.
This is ORT.
This is Solomon from Black Child Promotions, one of the UK's best black book distributors, and we operate across London.
ORT. This show is sponsored by Sunrise Organic Sea Moss. Who say can drink sunshine? ORT. We do it cause we love you.
So look here now.
Right.
You remember when we had the program on food and we spoke about Fridays, Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Given how things are becoming more and more expensive everywhere, going back to your point on resourcefulness, Kindred, this is something that may be coming closer to home than some of us expect because things are really becoming expensive.
They are. Well, what's happened is the line between COVID and Brexit was a bit blurred before because of lockdown. And now that lockdown has pretty much been eased, the full effects of Brexit are now starting to show. In terms of things being able to get through, they're hearing about lack of drivers, the implications of it, the cost of importing certain things. Now we're really seeing it.
100. 100. Remember, they sent them away.
Yeah.
They sent them away.
You run them out.
Brother S has been holding on to that.
Hey.
I tell you, so this was going to happen. That's what you've been saying all this time, isn't it, brothers? I didn't tell them.
No, warn them.
Yeah, they did it to my mom. They did it to my dad.
Yeah.
You down here will feel. You
told Brother S. Right? So now, they're offering some ridiculous 5-month visa. And the people in Europe are laughing after them, saying, well,
they said, no, they're not coming.
You don't run me. I can take my truck and drive around the rest of Europe in the EU and make more money than if you come over to England. So I'm here come.
And you know,
for the 5 months. And then you're going to kick me out again after the 5 months.
You know.
All right. I finished using you. Off you go.
Yeah. So see you later. And of course, the dichotomy here is we black people live here, and yes, we may have some different and individual food and nutrition and cosmetic requirements, right? Independent of the we that we talk about in Britain, and yet, as Kush alluded to, all of the food stuff and things that we need fall into the same category as being made more expensive to accommodate the fact that we can't get it via Europe no more.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So we're paying twice. We're paying as Black British and we're paying as African Caribbean.
Yeah. And as you talk about that, I remember during the summer when Jamaica came first, second, and third in the women's 100 meters, which I actually said was first, second, and third for the weaves.
Oh my God!
No.
That has to be.
My God!
That has to be one of the biggest adverts worldwide.
Listen. So you took it there?
Yes, man.
Oh,
because listen, there's going to be a weave shortage, If there is transportation issues, then all this here that some of our sisters love to buy from Asia, it's going to run out.
You took it there.
Well, they might have to start recycling, don't it?
As in go natural.
Recycle.
I can't believe it. Anyway, we're resourceful. I'm sure they will take their own wings and be able to redo the wings. I'm quite sure. We're very resourceful.
I can imagine some fights bursting out of them Pakistani stores. The last one is on the shelf.
Well, you see, again, like you said, resourcefulness. And,
Telling you.
Yes,
Yes.
and be creative and maybe, you know, discover new skills. I mean, again, this instant availability thing has just taken away skills. I mean, my mother used to be a hairdresser, and back in the 60s, 70s, she used to make wigs, run the hairdresser studio in the hallway in our house. We watched her do it. So
but you cannot do that when you're keeping up your Instagram account. Come on.
But hold on, if you're desperate enough, there's no wig. Needs must. Something will come.
Listen, people, you know, when all else fails, you know, there's always the shower cap.
Well,
Oh my!
They're actually called bonnets
Or the
these
stocking
days.
foot, innit?
all I know is I'm investing
Stocking foot.
in baseball caps because I suspect there's going to be a spike in the sale of baseball caps.
No. Hey, listen. All of them farms around where we live, they better lock up their horses in the stable.
Oh, no.
We're gonna find some horses.
Come
We're
on
gonna
now.
find some horses walking around in London with no tail.
No, you took it
The
there.
mane gone, the tail
They're
gone.
going too far now, brother. They're going too far now.
Good gosh, that's so naughty, but really quite funny. So naughty, brother. Yes.
Boy. Mind for your heart.
All I can say is this is England and you can't kill people but don't ramp with them animals.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are planning to trim a horse,
Stop.
better make sure you're on a pint.
Man.
Stop.
Couple gonna go missing just now.
Listen, there are so many of our sisters these days who are going natural. There are some beautiful natural hairstyles, and they are on the increase.
But
So many horses are safe.
That is true.
Okay.
I know the same set of sister you always I say the same 2 or 3. Anyway, we are fine.
I have
My point is
total
made then.
confidence in the creativity of our sisters. I'm sure the creativity will come out.
Like me say, I'm investing in baseball caps. You know, that's my.
I'm on the fence. You know, I love my sisters and I love the natural look and thing, but sometimes I'm just like, boy, come on. I'm being real. So I know this can jeopardize my relationship, but you know, sometimes. So I guess it's horses. Oh, there we go. Sorry, excuse the pun. I went back to horses before.
Stop.
I'm ever so sorry to stop that one.
Stop it.
Oh, dear.
Hold
But
on.
brother S, you're crossing the line now, brother S.
No.
Right, I'm going to make. Listen, let's balance this thing up. Okay? Let's balance this up with some reality and some fairness.
All right.
There are some sisters out there who, for medical or other reasons, have to wear a wig.
Yeah, man.
or a
Them
wig.
get them pass.
Yes, well,
Don't
we have to
don't watch
mention
no
them
face.
because we
will give them
We
pass.
do not want. Well, I certainly don't want sisters to think, that we're ridiculing them all.
No,
That's
no,
not
no,
the
no,
case.
no. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so
For sure.
let's be clear and balance this thing out.
The small minority that have those issues, we are showing empathy to you. The others, we still showing empathy to them too. We're just highlighting that the Jamaican 1, 2, and 3 was a win for the weave too. I don't know. Maybe the Afro or the plaits are not as aerodynamic, so there may actually be some sports science behind it.
You can run for the line with that. I'm not
However,
coming.
I want to say this. Yes, all of my sisters out there, whether it's pepper green or not,
Oh, Lord.
love you.
Pepper green,
Amen.
So full of compliments.
Amen.
All right.
I don't know why you have to specifically point out the pepper brain.
That's what I'm saying.
I take your point. I take your point. So listen, whilst we're on the subject, well, no, let's move it just a little bit. In terms of one thing that I'm aware that we haven't raised on here so far is the issue amongst our men. Let's balance this out amongst our men with prostate, and I'm sending this message out to men, all our brothers out there. You got to start feel up yourself.
Listen, man, tell me already. Same now go to hospital for man to push finger in him. What's it, not it?
Then you have to feel up yourself. Feel up yourself, man.
No, I would encourage that.
If they're gonna come,
I would encourage
if they're gonna come with that nonsense,
yeah,
right? About they got isms about a man putting hand where it's not supposed. Feel up yourself, right?
Well, maybe they might do that. Maybe they might do that already, and then still get the problem.
They're perhaps not looking for the right things, or don't know what they're looking for. And I hear all that.
True.
And I'm with you. Get rid of the ego, masochism.
Yeah, health is more important than your ego.
Yeah, I prefer you to be embarrassed about that event and alive than dead over pride.
Yeah. And the thing is,
well
said, yourself, man.
Yeah.
Well said.
The only thing is they're going to be the only one that's embarrassed because the doctor isn't. They're professional. They're they're there to do a job. So have a word with yourself.
You've seen one battle, you've seen them all, ain't it?
Exactly.
Well, to a degree, we can still get precious over our own, But yes, definitely, hopefully no malpractice, no go on with the doctor, take the pictures, but he should be taking.
Oh, dear.
Have mercy.
brothers, please.
Me have to have a
don't
witness.
Get yourself checked.
Yes.
Right? Don't get yourself checked.
100%.
And watch your diet, because your diet exacerbates it. So
that is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't.
Any which way.
Yeah.
We need them here. We need our soldiers. We need our kings. We need our queens. We need our princesses. We need our people here well, as well as they can be, so that we can continue to strive and continue to move forward as a people.
Definitely.
Right? It saddens me. I know that we're going to die. Everybody's going to die. But, sometimes we look back at it and we say, we can avoid the needless ones.
Definitely.
And 100% with you, And let's not wait until you're worried about something. Just make it a matter of course, right? Periodical checks.
Yeah. I have a good relationship with my doctor prior to COVID.
Stop
you don't need to share that, brother.
There right now.
Too much information. Okay.
Hey.
It's a family show.
Thank you.
We was on the first name basis.
And it's escalated. Like I said, too much information.
No. You call me Stinky.
Yeah. The doctor now leave you behind.
That's definitely too much information. That's definitely too much.
No matter what, he now leave you behind.
Murder.
What is happening?
She wear them tight gloves too. She wear them tight gloves.
Sister Kindred, let's go on another channel. I think this is for the boys.
Talking about conversation.
Talking
about conversation for the boys. This one, straight to Brother S. Brother S, is Chelsea the best team that money can buy?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, at least you're honest.
Okay.
And
okay, I don't want to infect the airways with Chelsea talk when we have so much more important thing than to talk about.
True. And I have to give a special mention here today because I was trying to find out some information on Sasha Johnson, because that has just gone very quiet. So I don't know what's happened to her. Again, we were talking about we need our people. His sister was doing some very good work in our community, and she was shot and was induced into a coma. But I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah.
So
I'll research that actually. I'll look into that because it's a very good point.
Mm.
Unfortunately, I was relying on the media to come back and update us. But we know with a sensitive subject such as that might not be at the forefront of the priority things that they feel that we ought to know.
He's so kind,
they
isn't he?
probably have marginalised that one. So I think we will have to go and dig out and find out what's happening with the sister and how she is, so that we can report back to the people then.
Yeah, we were at an event in August, and as far as we know, the situation was still the same, but from August we haven't heard anything else. So man, thoughts and prayers go to her and our family.
100.
Definitely.
And one of the oddities that is happening now, you know, is that for some reason this whole COVID and it's mainly COVID, I think, and Brexit, maybe for the UK, but second-hand cars are becoming more expensive than they were before because of the car shortage. There's a shortage in parts and all kind of stuff, and it's really driving up the price of cars. Never mind the price of electric cars. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about that from the petrol issue, but the price of electric cars are astronomical.
Are you talking about in London or in the UK?
Just generally.
Because in London it's slightly different.
In terms of the petrol?
No, in terms of the car prices. What has happened is because ULEZ, has kicked in this month, and that's what caused that.
Okay, the ultra low emission zone that the mayor has brought in to improve air quality. And it's interesting, I thought, I don't know if it's the World Health Organization, a couple of weeks ago they come out to say that the air quality is more dangerous than smoking. And yeah, man, it's killing more people than smoking, or all the cancer is another disease that they said that the air quality is far more deadlier than. So some people, they feel very angry with the mayor in trying to create a lower emission zone, but we have to have some answers to all these big problems. We can't just keep on having problems in terms of getting clean water and clean air. Something's got to give. We've got to change something about how we exist on the planet, individually and collectively.
Yeah, I think I would snap the arm off an electric car company if they made the car affordable.
Yeah.
But the prices have gone up. The ULEZ in London has forced car prices up. I was hit to this, actually. I changed my car at the beginning of the year, or the end of last year, right? Knowing full well that this period was going to come, and the nearer we got to when the ULEZ take was going to kick in, that the car prices were going to rise. So everybody who's got a diesel car below 2013 was going to be hit with it. So I went quietly during Christmas, when I knew that car places is quiet, it's time for them, and I went and swapped my car, and I was able to negotiate, I tell them I want this, I don't want that, I want this, I want. They were glad to give me the car and to swap the car, right? But people who I've spoken to, most people who I've spoken to in the latter part of this year have said that they went to swap their cars because it dawned on them that they didn't meet the ULEZ spec, and they got caned.
What?
They got caned for the car that they were part exchanging. That the car had worth nothing.
Right.
And then the car that they went to purchase in exchange had also gone up astronomically. So they got caned by the soul. You know, they made the car worth nothing, and then still caned you on the other end when you purchased a new car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's another spanner in the works as far as I'm concerned, as regards another invisible attack.
Yes. But we don't have to have these cars, you know.
I don't know. I think when you're introducing any kind of major change, right, you have to bring people with you, right? There's a process that you have to go through, and I think one of the difficulties here is that there's been a lot of misinformation being fed to people by the government about, you know, first of all it was diesel, and then it was about electric cars. So a lot of people moved over to diesel because of the information that they were given at the time, only to then be told a few years down the line that this is complete rubbish in the car you bought. You know, so I think it always comes back to leadership, doesn't it?
Well, within that, you also had Volkswagen cooking the books.
Yeah.
So maybe the leaders were reliant on the car companies being truthful.
There's been a lot of misbehavior around this. Lots of misbehavior and misinformation.
Yeah.
And I'm very much in favor of electric cars, but the price for them is just, it's madness, man.
It's madness. It's madness.
It's madness.
And the infrastructure has to support it as well. You have to have the charging points. You have to have, you know, people need to be able to run those cars, you know, efficiently. And we're still way short of the mark on that. There aren't enough charging points.
You'll get your charging point put in at your house by British Gas.
Well,
imagine the gas is still electric. But in a sense, I think that is one of the main pushes, is that people have their own charging points. And to be honest, most people don't do more than 50 miles. 50 miles in a day.
Right.
Is there an additional charge for those charging points in your home?
If you have it at home,
you pay for it.
I'm sure there will be. And
pay for it.
Think of this.
Charges.
Yeah. Think of this. Think of you being on the poorer side, the lower side of the economic situation that you may find yourself in, right? And that whatever money you're earning, you tend to spend more than that per month, per year. And then they tell you can have the electric car, but we're going to put a point at your house. So imagine if you go into arrears now, you've got to turn off the lights to charge your car. Or you can't use the electric cooker because all the power is going to the car, and now the gas or electric utilities companies are contacting you saying, we noticed that you keep going into arrears. So I think it's a bit of a cheat that they should want to come and intrude on your private space, on your residence, and say it's your responsibility to cut. No, put enough of them out there in the community. Don't be coming to my house for another reason that you can sting me where I live. And then you might even say, they might even come up with a thing like they do with mortgages. You know, your car is in some kind of threat or jeopardy if you fall behind on your payments. And then they take away the car and your house.
Well, that's true.
Very true.
There's another side to all of this as well, you know, because even if electric cars became more affordable and people really decided, you know, in large numbers to take up that option, I have yet to hear, right, what is going to happen? How are you going to scrap all of these cars that are no longer, you know, meeting requirements? What will happen to all these excess cars that are no longer going to be in use? And the pollution involved in scrapping them, right, is an additional. So I haven't heard an answer to that yet. That makes sense.
I've got the answer.
Go ahead.
Go on then. Yeah.
They're going to melt them all and turn them into weeds for the runners.
That was uncalled for, brother.
That is very creative. I'll invest in that.
Oh, make prosthetic horses' tails.
What they will probably do, Kindred, is what they are currently doing with all of the world's waste. Them send it to China and then get it back in a teacup set or something like that.
Have you seen the pollution in China?
Yeah, but them no mind. They are becoming stronger because of it, so they don't mind.
Is that so?
Yes.
When that polluted air starts to drift across. Yeah. They might be singing a different tune.
And in relation,
remember the ash cloud?
Yeah.
Cloud?
Okay. Well, that could have been man-made, you know.
Well, there you go.
But in terms of getting back to this charging and what you might do, I can imagine Tyrone going round to his baby mother house just to charge him.
The backside. Imagine. What do you say?
My Lord.
Hey, baby.
And she don't want the fast charger, you know. She don't want the fast charger, you know, because he just come and go it. She want the slow charger, so he can't stay in the night.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
A favor for a favor.
That could become a whole new basis for relationships.
You know,
man.
You know. You have light.
Your charge credibility, yeah. So that's going to start appearing on the checklist, isn't it? For online dating or whatever. Have you got a charging point?
I hear the joke.
Oh, yeah.
Hear the joke now. Tyrone's only going around there with a scooter, you know. Him not a car, a scooter.
Wow.
That's a whole other story.
So what's the game? Because they've kind of got us set already with the masks that were introduced during COVID. So if there is this ongoing air pollution thing, we're already been conditioned to accept that we may have to wear other types of masks.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah.
They done started that already.
Yeah. And like you said, to seduce people into taking out a mini mortgage to get an electric car. And it's like, why is it every time a new technology comes out, it has to be mega expensive so that it can become filthy rich rather than actually thinking about the planet? Because if you went to most people and you told them, listen, you can get a new car, it's going to be electric, it's not going to be really fancy, but it's going to get you around and it's going to be better for the environment, and it costs at 12,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Most people would mind. They wouldn't even mind just lose money on the old car. But when you're saying 40,000, 50,000, some of the Tesla is like 60,000 second hand.
Yeah, they haven't made it very inviting for the people who are seriously considering converting, because the cost, when you weigh up, you're losing both ends.
It's a mortgage, man. And it's not like you can drive anywhere without being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
The other day we went to the Midlands and we went to Huddersfield, and journeys that would usually take us about 1.5 hours now taking you 3 hours.
Ow.
Yeah.
Plus 3 hours plus or 4 hours.
Madness.
And we were on the motorway and we saw a couple of McLaren cars, and they have to go the same speed as everybody else, 60 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, so 40 miles. So what's the incentive to buy something that can do 180 or 200 miles an hour that might cost you 220,000? What's the incentive? To drive it fast out of your drive?
Show up.
That make no sense. It don't make no sense.
Well, I mean, that's about personal choice, perhaps. It's also about ego and braggadociousness, and to be really basic, it might also be about them being sharp in a certain department, and they're trying to compensate for it by getting the McLaren.
Well, that boys with their toys.
Okay.
But it also points to this illusion when they're looking at when Western governments are looking at, for instance, they're looking at communist countries. They say you don't have choice, but here the choice is you can buy the car for 350,000. You won't have anywhere to drive it.
Sure.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
It's a nonsense.
Yeah. And what is the thinking behind somebody that will buy a car regardless? Don't understand.
Well, maybe they're friends with Tony Blair, and them have these offshore accounts, and they just need to get.
It's a tax relief.
Yes,
wow.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But you know, but we are caught in sometimes in the heights of stupidity. You cannot travel 150 or 200 miles in this country in less than 3 hours. You cannot do it.
No.
And yet they're selling more and more cars based on speed for more and more money, and yet you cannot use it.
Yeah. So that may be about status, right? Who's alluded to the fact that it might be to the point that it might be a tax write-off?
Yeah.
I know some people will do that. They'll have excess money and they're thinking, rather than give it to I just don't buy the car. I just buy the car.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. It just doesn't seem like there's much joint up thinking on that. And
definitely not.
And these
a car like that is only useful if you're going to somewhere like Germany where you can drive it on the autobahn.
Yeah. And even then, people.
But to have it here.
Yeah, and people are complaining with the amount of tolls, like 200 euros you have to pay in tolls before you get there. So it just doesn't make sense, you know.
Yeah, it's just feeding the climate change, isn't it?
Right. I don't think we need more expensive. I just think we need less. You know, how many journeys do you make, and how much people you see in the car? One. And it's just really having a serious impact on the quality of life. In terms of being able to go someplace, if you wanted to go someplace, pop someplace and come back. It's just like, even on Sundays, sometimes you go to the supermarket or you go on the road, and it's just traffic.
Yeah.
So, yes, we need to kind of get back our bearings. So, yes, we are coming to the final 5 or so minutes. Anything else that anyone wants to cover in this re-ignition of ORT? Brother S, any films?
Any films?
Yeah, he's a film man. You know, you say he's a film buff, you know, have it recorded.
Yeah, well, on Netflix, Lupin.
Oh yes.
Is a very good French-made series. I found that quite good.
I like that.
Yeah, guilty pleasure. I got caught up in Married at First Sight, the UK version. Thing had me hooked, man.
Married at First Sight?
Oh.
Married at First Sight.
I don't know anything about it.
Now there's a social
experiment.
Real social experiment.
It's a social experiment.
Okay.
And it's good because this is the first one. I dare say by the time they go to do the second and third one, the characters are going to be aware now of what's expected of them, and it's going to change the experiment, right, in of itself. This time they didn't know, and so what you captured was probably more of the fact that they weren't sure what was to be expected of them, and as an experiment, it's an interesting watch.
Do you know something? I actually think it's about season 4 or 5. So I hear.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
In the UK?
Yes, I thought it was the very first one, but somebody mentioned it was season 5 or something.
Oh, well, I shut my mouth. All right, then maybe it was the first time I had seen it and assumed, because I hadn't heard of it before, it was the first one. So I think corrected.
I think so. I mean, it's a big talking point. That's how I get to hear about it. And yeah.
Okay.
So I'm hearing it, but check it out.
That's my two. Have a look.
So what about the new James Bond?
Is there?
You know what I was thinking today? James Bond no picnic.
Baron!
That's a good point, isn't it? That's a good point.
Baron!
This man sleep and you know it's weird because black men have this name, you know, we cannot be loyal and rated, and yet people are rushed to the cinema for watch a man asleep row with man.
And have no children.
Yeah, sir.
And have no children, yeah.
Old Viking. So it's just that, you know something, these you know, like these titles like Baby Father and all that, why none of it don't apply to James Bond?
Yeah.
Why are people dying to play that role?
Because he doesn't, he's an amazing, perfect, good example of perfection. He doesn't have babies and leave them around the world. Only black men do that. Yeah.
Patrick
that's the lie they sell, isn't it? He's just.
I reckon that big son he's got is firing blank.
All right, okay.
Well, you never know.
Okay. Well,
he's the ultimate white male fantasy, isn't he?
We'd have to
he's
talk.
Who they all want to be.
We'd have to talk to Q if he's firing blanks, because Q is the man with fixing in business every so often. And Patrick McGowan turned it down on the basis of morality. He was asked twice. He was asked.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Well, you have to come on the show for that. You don't just come here for laugh and joke, you see. You come here to learn. So, so yeah. So yeah, he was asked twice to play the role, and he turned it down because of his religious beliefs. See?
Wow.
Mm.
Morality.
A man of principle.
So Idris Elba, you know what to do if them come to you.
Take it.
Tell them now. Okay, I think we've come to the end. It's been really good catching up with everyone.
It has. It's been really nice, chillaxed.
Beautiful.
It has.
I've missed you all.
Oh, yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
So, our voice of compassion, our king of one-liners. Thank you all for your contributions today, and we shall link up again in a couple of weeks' time.
For sure.
We will.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, sister.
And Kindred, of course.
Good to hear you all.
Yeah.
Good to hear you all.
Kindred,
and brothers, remember, feel up yourself. Feel up yourself.
Listen, as my
voice of authority there.
Yeah, I have a biker brethren and him have a new girlfriend. So we call him up the other day and I ramp about the same thing. Girlfriend go up on the phone. Oh, he doesn't need to do that anymore. He has me.
Is she a nurse?
Okay.
Until the next time.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, man. Until the next time when you walk good.
She might be brother SMGP,
One love.
One love, people.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Organize, sit down, reason and talk.
Included below are related links to this discussion. Please share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, talk the thing. This show is sponsored by Sunrise Organic Sea Moss.
ORT is a Glover Media production.